Professor Joseph Nye coined the term soft power, and he defined soft power as the ability to affect others to obtain what one wants them to do through attraction and persuasion rather than coercion or payment. A country's soft power rests on its resources of culture, value, and politics. A smart power strategy involves a combination of both hard and soft power. It is said that soft power was instrumental in the West winning the Cold War. A country uses its political and cultural values to attract others. Anthony Blinken has said, "We use sports as a way of connecting people to our country. Whenever I go around the world, whatever, again, our differences may be, sports brings us together." Narendra Modi has said that the image of the country is not just about economic and military strength. The soft face of a country also makes a difference. Sports are one such soft power which can capture the world's attention to India. Sports is a universal language. Wherever you go, irrespective of the fact whether you know that language or not, you roll out a football and you start playing, you will see that people gather around you and it transcends all language barriers. There was a time when Muhammad Ali and Pele were far more popular than any political leaders around the world. Even today, when a Neeraj Chopra wins a gold or an MS Dhoni walks out to bat, the atmosphere is completely surcharged with positivity. That is the power of sports. The news that India is going to bid for the 2036 Olympics has made the world sit up and take notice of India. That, my friends, is soft power. And it is high time that we start understanding the importance of sports in international politics and optics, because that is how imaging is being done around the world. Sunil Chhetri is an icon of Indian football. He has been a trailblazer and somebody who has set so high standards for 19 years that the world has started to take notice of Indian football. The fourth highest goal scorer after Cristiano Ronaldo, Aldai, and Lionel Messi, Sunil Chhetri is a true champion. On his retirement, there is going to be a big void in Indian football. But this is the time to celebrate the life and times of Sunil Chhetri, his achievement, his leadership quality, and the magnificent manner in which he has been a cultural ambassador for this country for 19 years. And we are speaking to Marcus Mergulhao, who is the sports editor of Times of India Goa edition, somebody who takes this sport very seriously. He's an excellent writer and he's covered Sunil Chhetri for a very long time. Welcome to Samvad at Marcus. And
Thanks very much, Mayank.
Quite an achievement getting you on the show because of your hectic schedule following football and all this sporting stuff.
No, I could never say no to you. So absolutely a pleasure being talking to football with you.
So that's an honor. So, I mean, we were watching the Sunil Chetri's last match. And in sports, I've realized, Marcus, that we at times believe that the good things never come to an end. But life, they do come to an end. We all watched Sunil Chhetri bid a very teary farewell. Now, you have followed him personally for a very long time and know him personally. So, what were your personal emotions after watching that last game in the India colors for Sunil Chhetri?
Mayank, to be very honest with you and very frank with you, I personally wanted to be in Calcutta for Sunil's farewell game. But the emotions were so much that I thought, this is not Sunil's final game. It may be Sunil's final game for India. But Sunil as a footballer will continue to play for Bengaluru FC. So that is one of the reasons why I didn't want to go to Calcutta and be there among watching. Like, this is not Sunil's end. It may be Sunil's end of an international career that has been fantastic. But Sunil will continue to play for Bengaluru FC. This season we will continue to see him. He will continue to score goals. He will continue to entertain us. So that is one of the reasons why I didn't go to Calcutta, because it's not the end of Sunil. Sunil, we will see Sunil. The other reason was, personally, I was not really confident that India could beat Kuwait, and to travel all the way from Goa to Calcutta and then be disappointed like everybody was. plus Sunil Chhetri's final game, it would have been too much for me. So I decided to watch the game at home itself. And true to what I had expected, the team did not raise the bar. The team did not give Sunil Chhetri what everybody would feel like a perfect farewell. Because if we had won against Kuwait, we would have made it to the third round of the World Cup qualifiers for the first time. It has never happened before. It is not just any small achievement. It's quite significant because in the third round we will have 10 games, both home and away, 5 at home, 5 away, against very very high quality teams. So even if we had not won a single game of those 10 that we will play, the experience would have been fantastic. It would have helped the players a lot. So putting all together, okay, quite sad to see Sunil not playing for the national team, but all good things have to come to an end. It was time. Probably, Sunil could have even announced his retirement earlier. Because sooner or later it had to happen. How long can Sunil continue to play? How long can he continue to save India? There has to be a new striker. And now that Sunil has made it clear that this is his final game, everything will start falling into place. We all feel Sunil Chhetri is not there. Now what? Yeah, of course, there will be a big void. Sunil has been such a great player that it's difficult to find a player who is exactly like him. But eventually, over a period of time, we will find a successor for sure. Like it has happened in the history of football. We have had great players, but eventually somebody has come close or even bettered him. Like in India, we had, like, from the time that I've covered football, we saw aiff Vijayan, we saw Sabir Pasha, we saw Raman Vijayan, we saw Baichung Bhutia. Eventually, Sunil Chhetri became better than all of them. So let's hope for the best.
You raised a few names. I mean, Vijayan,
Yeah.
Cherry, Baichung Bhutia. I'll go back in time. Jarnail Singh. When we have heard about them, we have not seen them play. PK Banerjee, Chuni Goswami. I mean, there were a whole lot of players. Now, Sunil Chhetri somehow has done something which I don't personally, as a sports lover, I have not seen anybody do before. There's this list of pantheon of legends in Indian football. Now, as a player, and not only as a player, as a person who has made an impact on this sports, where do you rate Sunil Chhetri in the Indian football?
Right on top. Very, 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 very high. Right on top. I'll give you a few reasons why I feel that Sunil Chhetri is the greatest footballer that India has ever produced. I have not seen the great footballers of the 60s and even of the 70s. I started following football maybe in the early 90s. But from all that I've heard and I've even read, Sunil Chhetri is quite easily the greatest of them all. One reason is, just look at the number of years that he has been successful. If you look at modern footballers right now, I'm talking particularly about Indian footballers and not about European footballers. It's very difficult to find a footballer who has had success for a season, or 2 seasons, or maybe even 3 seasons. You won't be able to name any player who has been great for the last 3 seasons, continuously 3 seasons. Players tend to be, form tends to be a bit fickle. You will do well one year, the next year you will see that the form has dipped. In the last 2 years, Sunil may have not been at his best, which is understandable given his age and given the circumstances. But over a period of time, he has been very, very successful. Nobody has played as many matches as Sunil has done. Nobody has scored as many goals as he has done. And nobody has had a success over such a period of time. It's easy to find someone who scores, say, 20 or 30 goals a season, but next year you'll feel a complete drop. He'll score only 10. So purely for the longevity, purely for his international success, purely for the goals that he has scored, and purely the way he has carried this team forward, the way he has provided hope to all of us. He was like the Sachin Tendulkar of the 90s as far as cricket was concerned. I am personally a very big Sachin Tendulkar fan. So, but whenever Sachin Tendulkar got out, I used to switch off the TV and then the match was over for me. Like, Indian cricket meant Tendulkar for me. For a long time, Indian football meant Sunil Chhetri. If he was there, you knew that he could do something. He could get you some goals. And over a period of time, I don't think anybody has come anywhere close to Sunil. With all respect to two other strikers that I hugely admire, aiff Vijayan and Baichung Bhutia. Sunil is really the greatest.
I understand. I mean, we all know that he's the fourth highest goal scorer in international football. Now, there's this
Yeah,
group of optimistic people and the group of pessimistic people. The optimistic say that he would have scored more goals and been more successful if he played for a stronger team. I mean, India is not the strongest team in world football. There are the pessimists who say that if he had played for a stronger team against stronger defenses, he would not have been as successful as he was for India. Now, as somebody who's known international football, I know it's a hypothetical situation, but are you on the optimistic side or the pessimistic side?
very, very optimistic. Simply because you cannot fault Sunil Chhetri for not playing against stronger opposition or not being part of a stronger team. He did what he could, being with the Indian national team, being getting the opposition that he had. Like for example, in the Asian Cup, not this year, but in 2019, he scored against Thailand, which was a strong team, and it was for Indian football that was a very, very big stage. So whenever given an opportunity, Chetri has delivered. It is not his fault that he didn't play stronger opponents or India is not a stronger team. So I think completely hypothetical. Let's recognize Chetri for what he has done for Indian football. Let's not look at the quality of opposition. Like for example, even Ronaldo, plays against much weaker teams, and he
Mhm.
scores, and those goals are also counted. You don't get two goals for scoring against stronger opposition. All goals are equal to me, and all opposition is equal to me.
You answered in the first answer. We talked about the void Sunil Chhetri would leave in the Indian team per se. Now, we have seen for a very long time, and Sunil Chhetri has been the only lethal striker India has had for a very long time. And a number of people have come in and left the game, but Sunil Chhetri was always there. We knew that given half an opportunity, he would do something. Now, since he's
Absolutely.
left, I mean, I for one I'm very, what should I say? Maybe pessimistic, you can say, because I don't see any other striker on the anvil. And for this, I mean, we have talked about this before also. I mean, the role of ISL, it has improved the standard of Indian football, but obviously they're a professional setup. They want to win. They cannot have players in position as per their nationalities and giving Indian players an opportunity to score. All of them, most of them have foreign strikers. Now, this is a catch 22 situation, Marcus. And where is this leading to?
You can't blame the ISL or you can't blame the clubs for India not producing strikers.
Hmm.
Let's go back. Let's forget ISL and let's go back to the days of the I League. Even during those days, I League clubs hired foreign players. Those days there were a lot of Nigerian players. Some Nigerian players dominated Indian football purely not on their skill but on the strength that they had,
Hmm.
and they scored goals. I know so many players who did not have the technical quality but still delivered, still scored the goals. So and even those days, clubs hired foreign players or foreign strikers because they delivered the goals,
Mhm.
and without goals, a team cannot win. So if someone has to break into the 11, then he has to be good, like how Chetri broke into the 11. Baichung broke into the 11.
Hmm.
Vijayan broke into the 11, into the starting 11. Raman Vijayan was there. So many players were there. Like some people say that because the foreign strikers are there, Indian players don't get a chance. But this is not a new phenomenon. I always feel that whatever you do, whatever position you choose, you have to be the best. You have to think that even if you're a thief, ensure that you become the best thief, so
Hmm.
that you don't get caught. So if you are becoming a striker, then you have to work towards becoming the best. That nobody can keep you out. Your talent is so good that eventually you'll find a place. Maybe at the start, they might not give you 90 minutes to play. You'll come in as a substitute. But during the time that you get to prove yourself, do something. Like I know so many players who have got a chance but not delivered. They may have the skill, but if you don't have the mindset to deliver whenever you get an opportunity, what is the point in being a professional footballer?
Hmm.
A professional footballer is all about the mindset. It's not about the skill that you have. Everybody has skill. If you start training from a young age, eventually you'll develop a skill. But it is the mindset that sets you apart, that gives you an edge. So young players, whoever are strikers now, they have to come with a mindset that no, I will grab this opportunity. I will ensure that I break into the 11. A small example is about Shiva Sakti, who is with Bangalore FC. In fact, not last the season before that, 22-23 season, he capped Sunil Chhetri out and he broke into the 11 ahead of Sunil Chhetri because they were both in the same team and he delivered as well. So players have to have that kind of a mentality. You need to grab whatever opportunity you have. I think you cannot keep saying foreign players are being filtered. Try and become better than the foreign players. Try and give your club a reason to say no, we will count on this particular striker. Like for example, when JJ was with Chennai and FC, he played all the games. He was never a substitute. The coaches trusted him. So do something that a coach trusts you, and I don't think you can say no because of foreign players Indians are not getting a chance. I don't think that's the right approach. You take a look at the lower divisions like state league, second division, third division. The foreign players are not allowed. But I don't see any great striker emerging from there. I see Indian strikers missing so many easy chances. Not up to that standard. So it's all in their hands as well. Rather than blaming the system, rather than blaming the clubs or blaming the foreign players, you need to introspect and see what better you can do to become a part of the starting level.
Taking this forward, I remember Imran Khan when he was the captain of Pakistan cricket team. So he was
Okay.
aging. Obviously, everybody ages. So he was on the decline. His skills were on the decline. So there was a lot of talk about him being replaced and him not leaving his place to younger players. So I remember in an interview he said that, look, I am not going to give up my place. You need to get
Yeah.
better than me and then replace me in the team rather than me leaving and you coming into the team. So I mean, I believe that is the case in all sports, and it is how it should be. Now, Marcus,
You
you
need
have
to be
been
worthy
all
of a
over the
place.
world. Pardon?
You
Please.
need to be worthy of a place in the starting 11 now. You cannot have
Exactly.
anything on a player.
Exactly.
And
So
it's a
you
very,
are,
very competitive field.
you go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's a very, very competitive field. So nobody can give you anything on a platter. You need to work hard for it. Unless you deliver, nobody will trust you. Unless you score the goal, nobody will take notice. You cannot be doing well in training and then not delivering in a competitive game. What matters is what you do in a competitive game.
Marcus, you have traveled all over the world watching football. You have been to the World Cup and places. Now, India football is not exactly on the top level. We have, I mean, not nowhere in the Asian tournaments. Also, we are still lagging behind. So, as a cultural ambassador, I take this thing a bit apart from the sports. As a cultural ambassador, when you go to countries which are not familiar with Indian football, I mean, did Sunil Chhetri bring something to that aspect that people have started knowing Indian football since ISL primarily, and also Sunil Chhetri?
You can say to some extent because Sunil Chhetri remains one of the among the top three international active players right now, with Ronaldo and Messi being the other two players who are ahead of him. So obviously the world knows about Sunil Chhetri. Even when Sunil Chhetri announced his retirement, FIFA put out messages on social media. There were reports about him. So everybody knows about Sunil Chhetri. They mean the world may not have seen Sunil Chhetri, but they have definitely heard of him. It's quite rare for someone to not know about Sunil Chhetri because social media is so strong now. The coverage is so strong that everybody knows everyone. I will know players from Africa or from the remotest part because we've read about him. It's rare for a good player, or especially a player who has achieved something, to remain hidden. In modern football or in the modern age, it actually does not happen. And from that aspect, Sunil Chhetri has been one of the greatest ambassadors for Indian football. A small anecdote, if I can reveal.
Please.
When there was this thing about Arsene Wenger came up with the idea of having the World Cup every 2 years. A biennial World Cup was being discussed, and Arsene Wenger was traveling across the world, talking to captains, talking to coaches, and one of the player that he spoke was actually Sunil Chhetri. And so Arsene Wenger's thinking was that if the World Cup is held every 2 years, okay, there will be more opportunities for teams to to make it to the biggest sporting spectacle on earth. And he asked Sunil Chhetri, how soon do you think India can make it to the World Cup? And Sunil was quite optimistic, given the kind of development that were happening, given that the World Cup will be held every 2 years. So for someone like Arsene Wenger, to recognize the importance of Sunil Chhetri and speak to him, to take his feedback towards eventually deciding whether a biennial World Cup is good or not. That tells you a lot about the player that Sunil is and the popularity that he enjoys.
I wanted to ask you about Indian football and the state of Indian football, but since we are talking of good things as of now, I'm not going
Absolutely.
to venture into that field. One last question, Marcus. I mean, you have known him very well, Sunil Chhetri, very well, and you must have met him a number of times. Any personal reminiscences which you would like to share with us?
A lot of people talk about Sunil Chhetri as far as the goals are concerned, as what they see him on the field, the kind of fitness that he has. But Sunil Chhetri, for me, is someone who has inspired a generation, not just with football skills or what they do on the football field, but off the field. Because his commitment to fitness is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Nobody can even come anywhere close to it. I'll give you a small example of how Sunil Chhetri has transformed himself. In 2009, Sunil Chhetri signed for Dempo Sports Club. So he came to the Dempo House in Panjim. And as you know, the Dempo House is very close to the Times of India office in Miramar. It is just 5 minutes away. Yeah. So after signing for Dempo, I called Sunil and said, let's meet. Because those days, it's not like you could just call players, you could talk to them, you could meet them. There were no club restriction. There were no agents. You could talk to them directly. So Sunil Chhetri said, I'll come to Miramar, and there was a CCD there. So let's meet there. So Sunil Chhetri and me, both of us ordered 2 cold coffees and 2 samosas. Sunil, I still have a photograph to prove that. So Sunil had the samosas, finished the cold coffee, and that was it. So after that, eventually Sunil went abroad, first to the MLS, which is in the US, and then he went to Portugal. And he transformed himself completely because he saw what professional football really was. He saw what he was lacking. Then he returned to Churchill Brothers, won his first league with Churchill Brothers, great performance. But what he did was actually transform himself. They're like completely a different person, complete focus on fitness, the diet was proper, everything was measured, whatever he ate was measured. Complete change from the Sunil Chhetri that I met, say, in 2009, having samosas and cold coffee. If you offer him a samosa now, he'll smile. I mean, he'll never touch. From 2009, say in 2019, we had Sunil Chhetri as the guest editor for the Times of India. We spoke for around 2 or 3 hours in Bombay. So much was offered to him: sandwiches, cashew nuts, juices, soft drinks. He didn't touch a single thing in those 3 hours. From someone who had cold coffee and samosas with me 9 years ago, 10 years ago, to someone for 3 hours didn't touch anything. And he told me a very simple thing. He said, if my body doesn't need this, I will not put it inside. So much was his focus, so much was his fitness. And that explains the transformation of him as a professional player. Somebody who could eat anything, have anything at any given point of time, to someone who knew exactly what his body wanted, what was healthy for his body, what would be helpful to his body. That is the Sunil Chhetri that I've seen change over the years. So even now, if I meet Sunil Chhetri, the first thing that he will comment will be on my appearance, whether I've lost weight, whether I've put on weight, whether I look fit enough. That's the first thing that comes to mind for him. Another aspect that a lot of people don't know is that Sunil Chhetri is very, very competitive even off the field, not just on the field. Like, you play a game of carom with him, he wants to win that. You play a game of cards, he wants to win that. Whether he's playing with his mother or whether he's playing with a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old, he wants to win. He's a winner all through. And that is the kind of image that I've had over a period of time. Sunil Chhetri is a winner. He wants to win everything. And that is what has taken him so far.
I mean, that is the dedication champions are made of.
Absolutely.
And the story of the signed jersey.
Signed jersey was during the pandemic. So I never take any. I met so many players, but I've never taken a single autograph of any footballer. But Sunil Chhetri, for what he has done for Indian football, I wanted something from him, and this is what I got in return. I probably hoped only for an autograph from him, just signing Sunil Chhetri. But the message that he wrote really touched me, and that is the day that I decided that I will frame the G and capital. It is right behind if you see it. It's every time I look at it, I feel really good about myself as a journalist, someone who has covered football for such a long time, for almost 25 years now. This is my reward. Someone thanking me, someone like Sunil Chhetri thanking me for being part of his journey. Yeah. So it feels really special. It's something that I will treasure for the rest of my life.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Marcus, as always.
Thanks very much,
time out for us. And through you, I wish Sunil Chhetri a very happy future and hope he continues to score more goals for Bengaluru FC and stays connected with the with football even after that. Thank you.
I think for certain he may not become a coach. I don't see him becoming a coach because he will have very high expectations of everyone. He may not succeed because not everybody can measure to the standards that Sunil Chhetri set for himself and for the team. But I see him more in the role of maybe a sporting director for sure. He will stay connected with the game. He's not going anywhere for sure.
We wish him all the best. Thank you,
Okay,
Marcus.
thanks so much. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Bye.